if you watch this video till the very end, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and then United States of smash the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. So yeah, peace. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing, what if Deku was the Hulk, part 1. In case you guys didn't know, my 100 subscriber mark is going to be coming up here pretty soon, and in order to celebrate that, I'm going to be doing a 100 subscriber, episode, a 100 subscriber thank you episode, and, a little challenge for you guys with a little reward at the end. I am going to be hiding All Might figures in the next 10 episodes. It starts with this episode because we're at 97 subscribers, and it would be a little bit difficult to do it in the next other 10 episodes. So I'm going to be doing it starting it on this episode. So whoever can find all my action figures wins a shout out from me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and we're gonna start when Deku was at the Cork Doctor. And the Cork Doctor is explaining, like, how you need this joint in order to have a cork. And then the doctor's like, your son has this joint, but he doesn't seem to show signs of having a cork. He doesn't show signs of using a cork. He doesn't show signs of having a cork. He doesn't show signs of basically anything to do with the cork. The only thing that, would help them find out if he has a cork or not is the joint. And the joint isn't very useful if, you can't figure out if the person has a cork or not. And then Inko's like, so does that mean he doesn't have a cork? And then the doctor's like, no, I'm just saying he doesn't show signs of it. He has the joint, but I'm not completely sure if he has a cork. And then Inko's like, so he doesn't have a cork? Is that what you're trying to tell me? And then the doctor says, I don't know. I'll do everything I can. And then hearing this makes Deku drop his toy. And then Inko levitates it back up and then says, is there any way we can get him a cork, or give him a cork, or somehow activate his cork? And then the doctor says, I'm not a scientist, lady. I'm just a doctor. I don't know if there's any possible ways we can do that. So, Inko and Deku leave. Deku is really, really sad right now. Because, who wouldn't be sad, So, he goes home and he watches the All Might video almost 200 times in a row. And then before he goes to bed, he watches it another 300 times. And then he goes to sleep. So I'm going to say maybe a day, or maybe 2 weeks later, he goes to the park. And he's playing with his favorite All Might action figure. And then Bakugo, or Kachan, walks up. And he's like, you corkless loser. You shouldn't be playing with that, because you're never gonna be a hero. And then Deku says, Kachan, I'll get my quirk, and then I'll be as cool as you. And then Bakugo's like, you'll never be as cool as me. And then pushes Deku onto the ground, and then grabs his favorite limited edition All Might toy, and he snaps it in half. And then Deku gets really angered by this, and he gets up and runs at Bakugo. And he's like trying to punch him and everything, but Bakugo is just holding him by the head. And then he slams him, does an explosive slam on Deku into the ground. And then Deku gets back up and tries to punch him again, but Bakugo just throws an explosion at him, throwing him to the ground. So then, Deku gets back up and he's about to run away, but then Bakugo goes for an explosion punch. But he notices it didn't hit Deku. It hit some giant goblin. And then he's like, get out of the way. And then the goblin says, I'm not a loser. I will be a better hero than you. And then he punches Bakugo straight into the playset. Then he grabs Bakugo by the leg. And then he does what Hulk did to Loki in the Avengers. And he starts boom, boom, boom. He's doing it. He's just pounding him into the ground. Boom, 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 boom. And he keeps on doing it, and he keeps on doing it. And then he holds him by his leg, and then punches him in the stomach. And then does it again. Boom, 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 boom. He's throwing him to the ground, then bringing him back up and throwing him to the ground. Bakugo is just being ragdolled right now. And there's nothing he can do. He's just getting ragdolled. And then he throws Bakugo into a building. And then he launches at the building, punching Bakugo straight in the face, straight through the building. And then, the civilians around them are like, oh crap, that villain is gonna kill that kid. Call 911. And then they call the police, and then the police bring along, I'm gonna say they bring along, the guy who can control people's, clothes. And when he gets there, he notices Deku doesn't have any clothes on other than his pants. So he tries to stitch his pants together, but it does nothing but just make Deku angrier. So then Deku rips his pants off, showing his thing in the process. And he launches at the person, grabbing them by the face, throwing them into a cop car, then flipping the cop car on top of them. And then he just sprints. He sprints back at Bakugo, grabbing Bakugo by the face and then jumping into the air. And then he throws Bakugo down to the ground and then ground slams him. And then All Might arrives. And then All Might sees this villain about to kill this kid. And as soon as Deku ground slams Bakugo, All Might, he jumps and he tackles Deku into the ground. And then All Might starts punching Deku while he's on top of Deku. And he's boom, 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 and he's punching him. All Might is just going ham on Deku right now. And then Deku, with one punch to All Might's face, blows All Might straight into a building. Deku gets back up, really angry. and launches at the building he just threw All Might into. And, like, slams straight through the building, causing the building to collapse on both of them. Deku is, like, really, really mad right now. Like, really mad. And he grabs All Might by the face, and then All Might grabs Deku's arm and flips him over his shoulder, straight into a car. And then Deku does a backflip, and then he, like, starts crawling on all fours, like, running on all fours towards All Might. Then he, like, hits the ground and jumps towards All Might. And then he, like goes, and he does, like, 10 hits all at once on All Might's face. And then the last hit, he, like, punched as hard as he could, threw as much power as he could, straight into All Might's soft little face. And then he puts his leg down, and then, like, he launches his fist straight into the ground, while he still has his fist on All Might, and he slams All Might straight into the ground, and then kicks him straight into, I'm gonna say Endeavor. Deku is so mad right now, and he jumps towards All Might. And then All Might dodges, but he didn't know that Endeavor was here. He didn't know Endeavor was here. So instead of punching All Might, he punches Endeavor straight into the stomach, launching Endeavor into the air. Endeavor, like, basically is out of the game because of how hard he just punched Endeavor. And then Deku turns around and to be met with a Detroit Smash straight to the brain. And then he gets thrown straight into the building. And Deku is now exhausted. He can't fight anymore. Even though he's mad, he's exhausted. So he's about to try and get up when All Might comes, like, I'm gonna say he launched Deku into a second story building, and Deku is, like, in the second story right now. So All Might launches through the floor, grabbing Deku by the waist, and then he does what he did to the Nomu and slams him straight into the ground, basically doing a neck breaker. And then Deku transforms, and then he notices it's just a little kid. And then the police are questioning the goon, All Might, or Kachan's goons, while both Deku and Bakugo are being sent to the hospital, with Bakugo taking the cake when it comes to injuries. Like, every bone in Bakugo's, like, small little body is destroyed. He has bruises everywhere. He's bleeding so bad. Like, he's gotten slashed so many times by the buildings. Like, everything's broken with him. Like, he's just wrecked. He got wrecked. And I'm gonna say like 10 police cars are making sure to keep track of Deku's ambulance that he's in. So then when Deku wakes up, he's in a hospital bed with Inko talking to the police. And they're like, "What is your son's quirk?" And then she's like, "He doesn't have a quirk." And they're like, "Stop lying to us. We know that you're lying. And then she's like, I'm telling you the truth. He doesn't have a quirk. And then they walk up to to Deku, and they're like, what's your quirk, son? And then he's like, what do you mean? I don't have a quirk. And then they're like, tell us the truth. And then Deku starts crying, and he's asking, like, where am I? Where am I? Why am I tied down to the chair? Or to the, dead? And then the police officer is yelling at Deku to tell him what his quirk is. And then, another officer is yelling at Inko to tell them what his quirk is. And they're like, and then Inko's like, shut up! Stop, just stop, get out of our room. If you want answers, go to the quirk doctor. They told us he doesn't have a quirk. So leave us alone. And then they leave. And, All Might walks in. And brings Inko out, and he's like, you need to tell me what his quirk is. He almost beat me with his quirk. I need to know. And then she's like, I don't know. Last time I checked, he doesn't have one. And then All Might tells Inko the injuries that young Bakugo experienced from the fight. And Inko is surprised that Deku could even do that much damage to not only Bakugo, but the buildings around, and then also All Might. All without a quirk, she thought. And then a little mouse walks up to Inko, and he's like, you must be Inko. Nice to meet you. I would like to personally teach and train young Deku. Or young Izuku Midoriya. And then Inko's like, I don't know. And then he's like, Mrs. Inko Midoriya, you do realize what could happen if your son were to turn evil. We must make sure that doesn't happen. And then Inko's like, he would never turn evil. He's always wanted to be a hero. He's always loved All Might. He's watched the video of All Might saving hundreds of people over and over again, maybe a couple million times in his lifetime. He would never become a villain. And how dare you say that? And then, he's like, I understand that, but this is a if question, not a when question. Please, if this were to happen again, we need him to be in a controlled environment. Like down here at UA. And she thinks about it, and she's like, fine, I'll let him do it. But only if I can be near UA. And they're like, okay. We'll build you a spot near UA where you can live. Because I understand your worries. And then he walks away with, he gave, Inko, the paperwork for Deku to be signed up for UA. And then he walks away. So now, Principal Nezu, Eraserhead, All Might, and I'm gonna say Gunhead. I've been training Deku. And I mean training Deku. Like, not only has Deku been trained in his normal form, but he's been trained in his, muscular, like he's, Hulk form. And he's also been trained how to control his Hulk form. And eventually, they realize that Deku's quirk relies on hatred, relies on anger, relies on basically everything villains are set up on. And so they call Deku's quirk villain. No. His quirk will be called Dark Side. Yes, that actually sounds pretty good. Dark Side. So yeah, if you guys want Deku to get one for all, make sure to tell me down in the comment section. I can see some great things coming from it, not gonna lie. But, next episode would technically be, when I ask this question, but I'm just gonna ask it now, so I know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and peace out. Oh yeah, don't forget about the challenge, guys. Winner gets a free shout out.